I know. It's actually very annoying, especially if you live in this neighborhood. This is Okota. Yeah. The vast majority of my Oriental brothers and sisters live in this neighborhood. You have borne the brunt of the madness that has overtaken our country. And you will see more. As we are drawing closer, because for them, the election cycle has started. The election cycle has nothing to do with your votes. They don't care. They've written the result already. But having written the result, they need you to now begin to divide yourselves. You need to be told to ignore the pains in your bellies, the hunger. You must forget it. And for you to forget it, they must give you hatred to embrace. And I saw a piece in the paper, I think sometime this past week, and I know that they have started the race. You know what I saw? Ajeromi Felodun local government published a list of streets they were renaming in Ajegunle. And I saw how they are attempting to whitewash history and pretend that there is certain ethnic group do not exist in that neighborhood. And I laughed. But I also know that it will require the complicity of good men and women who elect to embrace hatred for that madness to endure. I have lived in the Lekki axis for at least about 22 years. I have been associated with that axis for over 30 years. I know the area well. The names on our streets, and I'm just using this to illustrate so that you understand the insidious nature of the evil that has overtaken our country. The names on the streets in the entirety of the Lekki Peninsula, I don't know about other parts of Lagos State, they came about in a specified manner. Lekki was a swamp, a vast swamp. It was only the express that had any solidity to it. And they were selling land. And my Oriental brothers and sisters came. They would buy land in swamps. And then they would build roads with rubbles. And then they would bring transformer. And then they would build a street gate. And other people will be encouraged by the reason of their presence to come and start building on their own plots. And then the way you name streets, you take an application to the traditional ruler that the street be named after you. The traditional ruler and his secretary will verify your contribution to the neighborhood you are asking to be named after you. Almost every name you see decorating any street in Lekki, particularly the entirety of the greater Lekki Peninsula, they were men who either built roads or bought transformers. They were the first, they were the pioneers. Those who are today turning around and making it seem as if these things came by accident and they were on hand in an attempt to turn brothers against brothers for reason of political validation, they require you to forget that you are commonly lepers. May God cure all of us of our leprosy. But it does not change the fact that Nigeria has inflicted leprosy on those who should be citizens. Our afflictions are common to us.
Nigeria has an Igbo problem. There is a secret memo in government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbo. Don't give them position. Don't give them opportunity. Otherwise, they will over. For an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break.
Wait, the meeting you had with Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
You are telling us now that Nnamdi Kanu...
Don't you know what happened, the called pogrom in this country, where people were slaughtered and their bodies and their heads placed inside the train going down south? Even our parents.
Wow.
Tell us, Igbo, in 2024, detaining Nnamdi Kanu against all the court orders, against all the court rulings. Here, I was reading a headline. Obasanjo is saying that Igbophobia in Nigeria. They have never seen Nigeria. This is a guy who went to the east and shot people dead because they wanted Biafra. Obasanjo killed. He was one of the officers that obtained the surrender of Biafrans. They were asking for a nation. Obasanjo and others, Danjuma, Buhari, Babangida, they went to the east and killed people, Murtala, and killed people up to 3.5 million people. They did not even apologize for it. And some, maybe 60 years later, you are saying that you suddenly found out that people hate Igbos. When you, in Nigeria's uniform, went and killed children, women, men, boys, who are of Igbo extraction.
But the way you describe it is a bit more grievous and
what is grievous? What is more grievous than war?
No, it might not be exactly the way you're pointing it.
Yeah.
There are war scenarios, civil war scenarios that happened. There was a strife.
No, what I'm saying is that this is part of history.
When you isolate
you know why I brought the Obasanjo thing out? Because I was reading that I was really livid that he suddenly found out that there's Igbophobia. When the Nigerian army carried out a pogrom, carried out massacre of Igbos, and because he wants to play on the intelligence and emotions of Igbos, you will be clapping for him. Oh, Obasanjo is now our human rights defender. Oh, see, he's fighting for Igbos. I have never seen anybody among Nigerians that probably killed more Igbos than Obasanjo. They killed people at the Civil War.
You don't have evidence to that.
What are you talking about? That you don't have evidence of soldiers killing people in Biafra?
But when you name someone as
Obasanjo was the third commando now.
Yeah.
He took over from Benjamin Adekunle. Go and read history. He wrote it even in his own books.
But the
are you saying that they didn't kill people? They didn't kill Igbos during the Civil War?
I'm not rewriting history, but I'm saying pointing one individual and mentioning his name.
No, but it's not about mentioning. He has a title. He was a military man. He was in the military. They killed people. What do I need to tell you again? I'm just saying that Nigeria did not start falling apart because of this election. It has fallen apart. It has failed up to this.
Is there
period.
hope at all?
Well, if you want to restore hope, we have to fight for it. Yes.
Right, so let's speak to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. There were accusations by the owner of Landmark, for instance, that he was not giving adequate information before the demolition, and he hasn't been compensated a dime since then till now. And then the road, as the construction as we speak, is about abandoned because it's in court. The SDP presidential candidate, governorship candidate, Felicia Doherty took the federal government to court on that issue. It's in court. What do you think? How do you think this case is eventually going to end?
No, let me tell you. Before they brought the Calabar Lagos Highway, they've had issue with the Landmark owner.
Oh wow! Why?
Yes, because he's been trying to expand there, and he wanted a piece of land between where he does conference and the hotel. Okay. They claim it was owned by the Lagos State Water Corporation. They will never give him, because they have always said it, and this is information that is known within their circle, that they will never allow an Igbo man to expand in that place.
Oh, whoa. So you think this is about where?
That's where it started. Okay. So the guy himself knew in advance that they don't want him to expand in that place. It's a well-known fact. And when this opportunity came for the coastal, they didn't waste time in going after him. So all the thing he was doing with Lagos State government, as we later found out, they were not on record, but they did it deliberately. They take money from him, we're processing. So
you think they were expunged from record, or they were just on record?
They just didn't put it on record. For instance, a certain part of the land projection into the Atlantic Ocean, they did not, or the lagoon, whatever part, they did not.
The beach area.
Yes, they did not put it in the records. They just come and say, keep going. They knew what they were doing. And guess what? When they started the demolition of the place, they then found out later that there's nowhere they need to build.
Exactly. Remember there was a question about the environmental impact assessment.
That tells you that it was pure malice as opposed to development.
So this was pure malice on
against a business person. They didn't approve of his business
because of his tribe.
Yeah, because of his ethnicity. I can say that, and because I was aware of that case. In fact, I was the one who first pushed the story about his developed, the attack on his property. Because I've been there before. I've been to Landmark several times. So if you ask him, he's been having issues with them because they won't sell that piece of land to him that would have enabled him to connect the hotel with the conference area. You can go and check it. And they claim at that time that that is the place that the West African highway was supposed to pass through, that we're not going to sell it to you. So when is that when they needed Calabar Expressway, they didn't use the place they refused to sell to him. That they claim, because that Calabar Lagos Expressway is supposed to actually come from Senegal. It's a West African coastal highway.
Coastal highway, okay.
So it has been designed a long time ago. It wasn't a new place. But the moment the opportunity came for them to clamp down on this businessman, they used it to quickly.
Now, Mr. Sowore,
Yes.
what does this mean for a president who's been traveling and as stated by Peter Obi, he spent 30% of his time in office traveling to market the country? If a business owner that is of the same origin in the country can be attacked because of his ethnic affiliation, what does it tell to the image of the country and to the people that the president has been marketing this country to?
You don't need to go far. You know how they brazenly talk about election in this country. There was a time the Oba of Lagos said the people who don't vote for Igbos who don't vote for them will be driven into Lagoon. So what else do you want them to say? You see them on Twitter, they have handles that are dedicated to attacking other ethnicities.
So you think they're unapologetic about this?
They're not. And those handles have been linked to the Lagos state government people.
But you're a Yoruba man. Why are you saying this about your people?
I don't know why people just say that because you're being a Yoruba person doesn't take my humanity away. But you must understand that this is not just about Landmark. There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they're holding Nnamdi Kanu.
What's your take on
for asking
Nnamdi Kanu's
for
perpetual
Biafra.
detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. He said 120,000 of them are surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, subterfuge to keep the trial. Everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So Nnamdi is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage. Well, I'll call him not a political because he may not. Whomever is in power, except me, will keep him in jail.
So do you think that Igbos generally are endangered species in Nigeria? Going back what you just narrated.
The truth, that's the truth. Nigeria did not forgive Igbos since the end of the Civil War.
What did they do?
Because they challenged the real estate of the British called Nigeria. So, and they didn't forgive them since then. So everything that's been done after that, we know this is the unspoken truth about the country called Nigeria, that they did not forgive Igbos for the Civil War.
The Igbos were the victims and they have forgiven the victims. So why is it difficult for the victors to...
You are preaching to the choir.
And because he had mentioned once that, in an interview he had mentioned that the Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. That is a perpetual, narration to keep the Igbos where they are.
Yes, so, it's not about even the presidency. If they find an Igbo man that is malleable, that can work in their interest, they can make him president if he doesn't have any power. You can be a president of Nigeria and not have the powers of the president. When they wanted to destroy the landmark, who was the minister in charge? It's not an Igbo man.
And Moka is Igbo speaking, also fighting.
It's easier for them to use an Igbo man to carry out. If it was done by a Yoruba man, the uproar would have been worse. But you find an Igbo minister of works to help you demolish Igbo businessmen. You say, can't you see them? So it's easier that way. It's manipulation. It's how Nigeria manipulate people. But I'm not saying that if he was a Yoruba minister, he cannot demolish. They will do it too. This is easy. Anybody could have done it as long as there's an agreement to do it. Because beyond just ethnicity, there's also an elite conspiracy against Nigerian people. So an average poor person is endangered. But you are likely more endangered if you have committed a generational crime against the Nigerian real estate. owned
by being an Igbo man.
Of course, that's the truth. You know, that's why you were saying, oh, you're Yoruba man. You know, if based on what I say, they even tell me I'm not Yoruba enough. You know, but I'm of mixed heritage. There's a part of me that is Ijo.
Okay.
And we are the Ijo speaking Yorubas. We're the Yoruba speaking Ijos in Ondo State.
Okay.
So they call us Ijo Apoy.
Ilaje area.
No, it's Ilaje. So we're next to Ilaje.
Okay.
But my great grandparents came from Yoruba side of things. But the stream that Sowore is named after is in Ijebu water side. So that's how they came. So, but you know, I don't speak to people based on ethnicity. I don't define myself based on my ethnic heritage, even though I do not deny it. But because it underlies our humanity to be assigned an ethnic position before you can be respected. Are you getting my point? Or before your views can carry on, so you have to be a Yoruba man. And then it was, oh.
So we've had
Here
Rwanda.
comes one of them.
We've had Rwanda manage the same ethnic issue in their country with the Tutsi thing after years of genocide.
Are you sure they managed it?
Well, to a reasonable extent.
They have to manage it through genocide. And Nigeria
after
also,
genocide management.
So this is what you should understand.
Okay.
Nigeria also managed the Igbo problem through genocide. 4 million Igbos. So
yeah, I was coming to that.
Is that not genocide? But you know the problem I have sometimes even with some of our people is that the same people who shot and killed them are more popular in their midst than those who support their rights. The Obasanjos of this world are embraced as authentic people, but these are the people who went and used third commando to massacre Igbo. What did they name this airport after? Murtala Muhammad, one of the most notorious killers of Igbos. Buhari, they kill Igbos. Danjuma, they kill Igbos. Gowon, they kill Igbos. But they even love them more than they love those of us who are fighting. People challenge me that they hate me because I support Nnamdi Kanu, and I say so be it, because I know that I'm supporting justice, and I cannot support injustice because I want political favors from a country. If you want to keep carrying out genocide of political nature or continuation of it, you can go ahead. Keep voting for the criminals who are perpetrating it. Let the forest be voting for the axe because the handle is from one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I said something. I would like you to touch more on it. I mean, the Igbos were the victims. Now they are forgiving the victors. There is no place you don't find the footprints of Igbos across the length and breadth.
That's why I say you are preaching to the choir. It's not, Igbos are not only in Nigeria, they're all over the world. I'm saying all these things so that you can understand that I understand probably more consciously better than most people do. And that informs the reason I can speak categorically about the victimization of Igbo. Otherwise, it is a taboo. Politically, it is incorrect to say that Igbos are victimized by an average Nigerian.
Okay. All right. So let's move
because
straight.
Nobody wants to hear the truth, and when you say, if somebody is watching me and I get out and say, what's your problem now? Leave these Igbo people alone. You understand? That is the truth. But I cannot. My conscience cannot allow me to accommodate the genocide of 3 million people, 4 million people, and then the continuation of that denunciation of the existence through persecution, in which the Nigerian state is carrying out, either through landmark or Nnamdi Kanu, or look. I told a story. I think it was on the Honest Bunch, that in this country, there was a time they were beheading Igbos, putting their heads in calabash and putting on the trains going east.
Do you think that's what's happening in the East right now? Speaking about militarization of the East.
Pogrom, you understand? And that's why they're doing it. It's what they're doing. When we did August, what did we ask for? Demilitarization of the East and release of Nnamdi Kanu was one of our demands. But it was the most denounced demands, even by human rights people. They told us, no, don't include Kanu in your demands. Otherwise, we will not join you. Because Nigeria has been made to believe that a crime committed against Igbo doesn't fall under human rights abuse.
So let's speak about that crime against Igbo, because a popular, I think I read in your paper recently.
And unfortunately also, the Ohanese people said they should not join the protests, that they are negotiating with Tinubu. They even said that he will release him for Christmas gift, as if he's a Christmas goat.
All right, so speaking about this militarization of the Southeast, recently I read in your platform, a popular media mogul, owner of a media platform in Lagos State, was dehumanized in the Southeast. He was traveling through Anambra State to Asaba Airport, and he was accosted. He and about 3 DSS officials were accosted by military personnel who, dehumanized them, told them to lie on the floor. In fact, told them they were going to shoot at them, told them that they were IPOB. Do you think there has been accusations that most of the people killed in the Southeast in the guise of IPOB are really not IPOB, that they were killed by military? Do you think that this is exactly what's happening?
Burning down villages, Nigerian army. They are burning down villages. Like, if you are 17 years old in the East, you carry any kind of hairstyle and you run into a military checkpoint, you're automatically targeted. It's profiling.
Oh, wow.
You understand? But go to Katsina. Listen to this before we end this broadcast. The governor in Katsina said a whole local government with tons of bandits have only 5 policemen in their area. They have only 1 vehicle, no military. But there are bandits all over the place. Why is it that banditry and terrorism in the north is treated with kid gloves, and people who are asking for what is recognized by the United Nations as self-governance, the request for self-governance, is treated as a crime against the state? But terrorism is not treated the same way in the East. I traveled in the northern part of Nigeria during the election in 2019 and also in 2023. You can drive all the way from some of the most, bandits havens.
Dangerous points.
Dangerous points. And there will be no policeman or army on the way.
Okay.
But you cannot travel in the East today. Is 1 kilometer, 1 military battalion.
Unfortunately,
That
that is what it is.